Hello there, welcome to the fourth video, or part 3 of the Fallout 4 DLC Contraptions Workshop. What I've done now is I've learned how all this works, and I've set up a semi-basic thing for this. Basically, to run you all through this before I actually begin, I'll say that the hopper can attach to the conveyor belts, but you need to put a conveyor belt first. So in my setup, I've got it so obviously it starts as a conveyor belt, hopper puts on top first, hopper is on its own switch, so I can turn that on and off. The conveyor belts lead forwards. Right, you've got a tripwire here which will turn that on and off to close that up. This is something that I've played around with before, like it's to speed up the lift, because the lifts are slow, they do their job.
Right, I don't know why that's not spinning along as it should be, but let's just put that back. I'm sure it's fine.
Like there's a visual bug where they don't always do their motion, but they are working. Right, over here.
I've still got a little stairwell thing so you can see properly. Stairs. Right, what I've done
is to make sure that these work together. I've just fed one so it goes downwards and then into the sections. The other one just goes into there and on top of there, so it should just drop from here into all this. With these sorters work in that you put an item, you only need one, but you put an item into the sorter that you'd like it to keep. If it is something that is in the sorter, it will go through this side, like so it enters on this side. It turns to the right if it has an incoming item that is already in the sorter, and that can then go to your builders and such. If it's not in the sorter, it will carry on straight to the next whatever section you've got. I've got a second sorter here, so I can carry on building different items, and then if I've got either potato or cloth, it turns to the right for a food processor for Instamash.
again, if it will just go on straight, turn right for fertilizer steel. And again, I've just thrown some plastic in there, like so you can see. Right.
It will then go to conveyor storage. It will sit here if I have things that don't get picked up by any of those. Right, and from this point onwards, I've got a vacuum hopper, which is currently unpowered. Right, so all that will just not work unless I flip this switch here, and that will then work. So that will literally take it out of there. I've already set up the hopper with 30 of quite a few items, and I'll show you the settings I've got it on. Right, hopper control. I have that set to a 1 second delay because I found that to be the most efficient. You can put it to 0.5 if you're only using a single lane, but I find 0.5 overpowers the arm. As for the output force, I'm going to turn it right up to 30, it doesn't really matter that much with how I've got it here. I'm going to tell that to make kickballs because I've got rubber in there. Right, in the ammo plant, I'm going to tell that to make 38 rounds because I've got both steel and fertilizer in there. In the food processor, I'm going to tell that to make Instamash because I have potatoes and cloth. Turn that on. And as you see, that will start to do that.
As you can see, it's a pretty fair way of doing it. Like, it gives it a general, like, one-to-one, as long as you've got it on the settings that I've got it on. Though it can jam up sometimes, as you've seen. It won't really make that much difference, like, it's not a big issue or anything like that. But it's a nice little touch, like, occasionally, as you can see, it'll, like, every so often, especially with small items, it'll just, like, do that, but it completes at a decent enough rate.
Like, this is how the rest of it works. So, the lifts aren't that quick, that's why I've got the two, as I said before. That has no issues with feeding both onto the same line. You could, if you wanted to, help that out with a downward thingy, but honestly it doesn't really matter. Like, as you can see, they don't fall off the conveyor belt. And with all this, you don't need to wire it all up, as long as you've got a power source going from one to the other. But with the potatoes, they seem to have ignored all the rules of that barrier. Some of them are falling off here and there, like nothing that bad, but that's just something to be aware of. Because we have plastic in this one, that's just going to go and accumulate. Well, I'd hoped it would fit in the tub, but obviously I'm going to have to move that tub if I want it to actually sit in the tub. So if I just get the resources, get that bathtub, and that should, with any luck, fall into the tub. Yeah. But it's a shame that you've got no little boxes or anything like that to throw, to have all this designed in, but that's just part of it. But yeah, as you can see, that fits nicely into the tub. That will just keep on falling in until the plastic runs out. As you can see, the gun press, ammo plant even, sorry, is working, and it's 10 rounds per. So for one fertiliser 2 steel, you're getting 10 38 rounds, which is pretty decent, really. Like, you can't really complain about that. That's a fair enough rate of thing. So now we've seen the screws go into here. We've got adhesive, spring and screws. In here, there's nothing. If I turn that on, we're now going to see adhesive coming out this side. That is not connected itself. You just put that there, right? Let's see what happens if I turn that on. Will that actually? Yep. So as you can see, it's not attached. It's just touching it pretty much, but that will work. And if I turn that off, that will stop working. And that will go back to collecting in there. So yeah, that's how that works. You've got rubber balls, or kick balls coming out, and this should be making some Instamash. And with that, we get some preserved Instamash. Which, looking at the things of it, go to aid, gives you a nice amount of health back compared to normal. Like pork and beans 20, that's 45. So like bit of potato 10 HP, rads. Preserved Instamash 45 HP, and the weight is the same. So all you're giving up is a bit of cloth, and you are getting a lot more health from it, and no rads. So yeah, it's well worth getting these. The only issue I believe is it's 3 potatoes, you know, it's 3 potatoes for the Instamash, but honestly, you're better, like, the 1.5 pounds of weight compared to the half a pound and all that, you're a lot better off getting the preserved Instamash out of that. And by the way, this doesn't need to be so long, it's because the ground wouldn't let me put these down on stuff like that area here. But yeah, that's the Contraptions Workshop pretty much covered. The only thing I haven't gone over is the advanced switches, which again I'm going to need time to learn about. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. Have a good day, guys.